Ladies and gentlemen, bow down to me as I show you how I made thousands of dollars in the stock market today. I knew it was going to go up today. I professed this, I prophesized this, and today we're going to actually just talk about selling options. That was all me being facetious, but I think you're probably going to see a lot of YouTubers get on today about how they made thousands of dollars today, and look at them, they're geniuses. And the fact is, the whole market pretty much went up, and anything you put money in probably went up. That's because we got some tariff talks that it's going to be cranked down a notch, so people are pretty pleased with that. And really, I just wanted to go back to the basics, and that is selling some options for some income, because that's all I do. That's all I talk about on this channel, at least for now. And that's what I've been documenting for the last 6 or so months, I think, since I've started documenting. You can correct me if I'm wrong. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing. That way you don't miss any videos in the future. We're getting close to 2,000 subscribers, which is nuts because it feels like I just hit 1,000 not too long ago. Today we're going to look at just selling calls, and we're going to go back to the basics. What is selling a call? What does that mean? How you can make money from it? What's the risk? And if you like what I have to say in this video and you want to learn more about selling options, it's something I've been doing and trying to do to make some extra money, go check out my course. It's linked down below. I try to make it affordable, just share everything I know. I'm not some crazy guru that sells a $500 course. It's just tells you everything you need to know regarding selling options and the basics. And it'll be linked down below. If you want to know, I track all of the options that I sell in this spreadsheet, and today alone, just in premium, and we'll talk about what premium here is a second, $419 from selling different options. Most of these on Sofi and Robinhood. We'll see one on MSTU, which I haven't sold an option on in quite some time, but my put that I sold on MSTU, at least one of them, has almost fully recovered, so I think maybe it's time to get back into selling one or so more. MSTU is definitely not a stock that I'm going to sell a lot of options on at one time because it is leveraged and it is definitely risky, more so than most stocks. So I'm taking it very slow. And today I wanted to look at selling some covered calls on Sofi, because now that Sofi is up 6.45% and it's well above my average cost. If we look here, my average cost is $12.43. In yesterday's video, I'm not sure why, but it was closer to 12, and I was like, that doesn't look right, and it just updated on its own. So I don't know if it just miscalculated or what the deal was. I have 4,400, almost 4,500 shares. And because of this quantity, I can sell covered calls a little bit at a time, which is what I do when it goes up a lot in a short period of time. And so let's look at what selling a covered call is high level and how you can make money doing so. So let's say you have 100 shares of a stock and you go to sell a call or a covered call. It could be called either one of those. Basically what you're doing is you're getting paid to cap the amount of return that you can make on a stock. And by that I mean, if a stock goes beyond an agreed upon price between you and the person that bought this call from you, they have the right to purchase those shares at the agreed upon price, even if it goes well beyond the agreed upon price. So let's look at an example here. If I go to sell a call on Sofi, it's going to expire this Friday. So I have this expiration picked here, and I pick this $14 strike call. What this is saying is, come Friday, when this expires, if it is above $14 a share, any point between now and Friday, the buyer of this call has the right to say, hey, I want to purchase 100 shares off of you for $14 a piece. And so you're probably wondering, okay, well, what's the risk here for me selling a covered call? Well, let's say Sofi goes up to $14.50 sometime this week. Well, I'm capped at $14 a share, because the buyer of the call can say, I want to buy 100 shares from you at $14. And because I'm capping myself and I'm taking the risk of only being able to sell them at $14 by expiration, if it surpasses that amount, I am going to get paid premium. And that's what this amount right here is. And no, it's not 17 cents, even though it says so. It's actually times 100, because there's 100 shares in a contract. And so it's actually $17. And so if I hit continue right here and I were to follow through with this, we could see there is a little bit of a regulatory fee, but it is $17 in credit that I would get. And so why would I do this? Well, let's say SoFi never actually surpasses $14 a share come Friday. Well, then I never run into the risk of selling my shares at $14 a piece, and I still keep the premium that I gained from selling this call. So I keep this 17 bucks. It's in my pocket. I can go buy Chipotle with it. I can invest it in more SoFi shares. I can withdraw it and put it in my bank account. You kind of get the point. So a lot of people, they sell options to generate income in hopes that their option doesn't become in the money, or in other words, the person that bought the option can exercise their ability to purchase these shares from me. I'd rather it just expire. I keep my shares and I keep the premium that I was given. And that's basically what I did today. Is I had some shares of Robinhood and I had some shares of SoFi that I sold some covered calls on, and I generated some income. And whether or not those become in the money come the expiration that I sold those is to be determined. But I keep the premium right off the bat, and I could do with it whatever I want. And there are techniques to avoid getting those shares taken away from me. And I've talked about them in other videos. I talk about it on my course. You can go check it out. And it's kind of cool because you can avoid getting those shares taken, and you can actually make some extra premium doing so. And so if I have 500 shares of SoFi, if I wanted to sell all 5 options at once, I could make whatever 17 times 5 is. I think that's $85. And if these kept expiring worthless and I never got my shares taken away from me, and not really taken, if they weren't forced to be sold to someone else, I could make a decent income with 500 shares of SoFi. I can make $85 a week doing so. And that's what I'm really going to look at doing the rest of the week. Aside from selling new calls, I also looked at rolling out some previous puts that I sold and take advantage of some of the pricing that we saw today. And that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you found this useful and a good refresher if you needed it. And I hope to see you in a future video.